Welcome to the Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson. I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. On today's episode, what I want to talk about is to overcome anxiety is going to be a challenge, and it's going to challenge you to do things that you are not comfortable with. That is a huge thing, because in overcoming anxiety, it's going to require us to be uncomfortable, because right now we are in our comfort zone. So we are experiencing anxiety. We are avoiding certain situations, not going to certain places, avoiding certain people. Whatever it is, we are living in a comfort zone right now. And that's not really helping us in healing or overcoming our anxiety, because we are in a way stuck in our box. And the best way to overcome these fears is to challenge yourself and break out of that box and do things that make you uncomfortable, which is, of course, not a simple thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do, because a lot of us, we don't want to experience anxiety. We want to avoid panic attacks. We don't want to experience the symptoms. We don't want to go back to what we used to feel like. So we try to do things in order to avoid it so that we do feel better. But the problem is that we're constantly anxious about those situations. So it's not really helping us with our anxiety, because we're always on alert. We're always making sure, like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm going to be fine, that I'm not going to experience a panic attack, that I'm going to avoid this place. How can I avoid it? And we live our lives according to our anxiety and not according to how we want to live. That's the thing. We don't live according to the way we want to. We live according to the anxiety. So right now, our anxiety is in control. It has hacked our mind and body. And that is an issue. And what we need to do is hack it back from our anxiety so that we can live a life like we used to, and not being afraid of situations, or even thinking about, what if I go over here, or what if this happens, then I might be experiencing an anxiety attack. Like, ask yourself, how great would that be? How amazing would that be that you wake up in the morning and you're no longer worried about that situation that's going to cause you anxiety, that you're no longer worried about a certain place or a certain thing or a certain person no longer causing you anxiety? How would that feel? What is that worth to you? To me, it was priceless, honestly. There is no price to that, because I know what it feels like to live with anxiety and being afraid of everything and being stuck in that box, and how it feels like whenever you break out of that box and you overcome that, how amazing that feels. You can't really put a price tag on it, because to have that feeling, to know what anxiety is and overcome it, it's an amazing thing. And it's so worth it. So whenever we have those challenges, whenever we don't want to overcome and heal our anxiety, we need to understand, is it really worth living my life like this? And I know even that it's not an easy thing. And I know it's going to be challenges, but it helps us to motivate us to get out of the box. Because whenever we think about it, like, you know what, is it really worth me living like this? What can I do? And I'm not saying that you're not doing anything. That's not what I'm saying. It could be what you're doing is not the right thing, and we might need you to find something else. But what we could do is like, okay, you know, what can I do in order for me to overcome it? Maybe I am not doing enough, or maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And a lot of us, it may feel that we're constantly in our head trying to fight with it every single day, and it is a fight every single day. But sometimes we need to find the right fight, the right battle, in order for us to win the war. That's the thing. So we're focusing on this battle that we are struggling with, and we don't see any results, and we feel hopeless. And we're like, okay, we're stuck like this. I can't really overcome it. But we need to figure out what the right way is. Maybe I'm not doing the right things. And we maybe need to get out of our comfort zone. And you ask yourself, okay, am I getting out of my comfort zone lately? And if you have, that's great. You know, you should be actually proud of yourself. And even though you might not feel better, like, oh, it's not helping me, that's fine. But eventually you'll get there. Eventually it will get there, that you get to the point that you no longer will need to battle it. It's going to take time to rewire the amygdala. It's going to take time to do that. And again, this is why I'm such a big believer in building the right mindset in order for you to assist you for you to overcome and get out of the box, because getting out of the box is not a simple thing, and we do need help. We do need help. It's impossible to do it on your own. Whatever it is, buy a book, buy a coach, buy a therapist, whatever it is, you need to get that help, that somebody's going to help you to overcome and get you out of the box. And that's the way it's going to help us. It's like someone that's stuck in a ditch and there is no ladder. There's no way for that person to come up. They're going to need somebody else to come and pick them up. It's impossible for them to get out of that ditch. So that's the same thing right now. We're in a ditch right now. We need somebody to come and help us. And that's okay. We need to accept the fact that we do need help. And there's nothing wrong with that, to get help. And I know a lot of us, we don't want that help from somebody else because we're too proud or we don't think that we actually need it. But the truth is that our mindset, our thought process, our box that we're living in is from us, and we need somebody from the outside to come and change that. That's the thing. We need somebody from the outside to come and change that, and we need to trust the process, trust that person. Again, you have to build that trust, whatever it is, and to be able to get out of your situation. I like for me, for example, I remember whenever I was experiencing anxiety, and I remember I used to be afraid of going on public transportation. I was terrified of going because I was afraid something was going to happen to me. I was going to faint, or I just couldn't stand the crowded places. It was just too overwhelming and I couldn't handle it. I would get a panic attack. So what happened is that I got to the point where I was so sick and tired of living like this. You ever get to that point where you're like, I'm sick and tired of experiencing anxiety. I'm sick and tired of living like this. I need to get out of this situation. I remember that so vividly, like how it was and where I was the first time I ever tried to go on public transportation while I was experiencing anxiety. I remember I was with my cousin in one of his events that he was DJing, that he would take me a lot, and he really helped me out and take me out of the house, and I was always with him. And then it was late at night, and I was just getting really tired and I wanted to go home. And he doesn't usually finish until 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And until we get home, it's like 3:30. And I was like, okay, I'm exhausted. I need to go home. It was around like 11 o'clock at night. So I told him, I'm like, Isaac, I think I'm going to go home. I'm like too tired. He's like, how are you going to get home? I'm like, I think I'm going to take the bus. He's like, are you sure? Because he knew my situation. I was terrified of taking the bus. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm positive. He's like, let me know if anything happens or anything like that. Let me know. I was like, yeah, sure. I remember leaving the event and I was just terrified. I was terrified I was going to have a panic attack. But I said to myself, you know, Emmanuel, I'm like, it's late at night. There's not going to be that many people on the bus. It's going to be good. It's a good starting point that we can actually start to overcome it. And the bus ride was about, I think, 40 minutes. I think the bus ride, which was pretty long. I think one of the longest 40 minutes that I ever experienced in my life. And I remember getting on the bus, we were driving, and the entire time I was learning about exposure therapy, and the entire time on the bus, I was trying to speak to myself, Emmanuel, you are fine, you are safe, you are okay, this is your safe place. Think about it, you are sick and tired of living with anxiety. We have to try this out. What we have been doing so far hasn't been helping. Let's try the exposure therapy. We need to do it. We need to put in the effort. We have to. And I pushed myself for 40 minutes, talking to myself, coaching myself in order for me to feel calm so that I don't experience a panic attack. And I remember coming out of the bus. I remember going off the bus. I was like, wow, I can't believe that I actually succeeded in getting on the bus for 40 minutes. I'm like, whoa. My confidence instantly boosted that moment. I honestly felt like I took back control of my life. That's how amazing it was. It was worth going on the bus, taking the risk, feeling anxious. I remember before I went on the bus, I was feeling very anxious. And I still pushed myself, and it was extremely hard. But eventually, at the end, it was worth it. So it's something we need to ask ourselves. Is it worth living with anxiety? What has anxiety given you? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Or do you feel confident? Do you feel good with what you're experiencing? And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to make you aware that, hey, living with anxiety is not worth it, and trying to overcome it. And I'm not saying that you're not trying to overcome it. I'm trying to say is that putting in the effort, the correct effort, whatever it is, you're never going to feel ready to overcome anxiety. You're never going to feel ready. You're going to have to do it because anxiety is never going to make you feel ready. It's not going to do that. Its job is to protect you. So no matter what, whenever you want to go to a certain situation and do a certain thing it perceives as dangerous, it's going to make you feel anxious. It's going to make you feel those symptoms. So no matter what, it's never going to be the right time to try and overcome your anxiety. It's never going to be the right time. And I haven't met one person whenever I coach them that it ever felt like it was the right time. We just had to do it. Maybe we can build ourselves and in the right way beforehand and take baby steps. Again, we don't have to throw ourselves in. We can take baby steps in order to get there, but eventually we want to get there so that we can take back control, hack back our mind and body back from anxiety. Because right now our anxiety has hacked our mind and body, and we want that life back and we need it back. That's the thing. We have to take it back in order for us to feel good. And we need to always tell ourselves, let's look at the ROI, return on investment. Is anxiety really giving me a profit over here in a way? No, it really isn't. It's really controlling your life and actually limiting you. It's actually limiting you on things that you really want to do. This episode is to make you aware of the fact of how much anxiety is trying to control you and is not giving you the benefits of what you want in life, and it's not giving you the life that you actually want to live and that you actually can live. Imagine, I always say this, imagine this, waking up without anxiety. How would you feel? How much is that worth to you? And I know you're afraid. A lot of people are afraid that they might have setbacks or that the anxiety is going to be too much and they can't handle it and the symptoms. I definitely understand, but we need to try in doing this so that we can overcome and heal our anxiety. If you are ready to hack back your mind and your body from your anxiety, I created a hack program where I literally show you the right tools and techniques, the path that you need to take from point A to point B to help you to understand what anxiety is, how it tricks you, and how it works in order for you to hack back your mind and your body so that you can be the person that you once was. Click the link below today in order to start hacking back your mind and your body. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask for this is because it will help me to reach more people, because my goal over here is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety. That is my purpose and that is my passion, because it's something that I went through and I know exactly how to overcome and heal it. And if you know somebody that is struggling with anxiety, share this episode with them so they can actually benefit as well. Take care, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.